Rise from your grave.
Hey everybody, welcome to the brand new office. It's a little more cramped than what we had before, but it's homey. I can record anytime I like here. It's also a lot easier to get to. I don't have to drive out to it every time I need to record. But it doesn't quite have the same atmosphere, does it? None of the same decorations that we had. Hell, or even any place to really put poor Bearlock here where he's in camera. I guess for now he's just got to sit on the shelf here outside of the view. I don't know, but would it make any fancier if I smoked a pipe while doing this? Yeah, mistakes were made. Anyways, I have something to address really quickly before we get started. Just to prove that I have one of the best fan bases in the world, I was terrified for a while to actually read the comments on the last video I posted. I did not delete that thing specifically because of those comments. I've just privated it for now. I never want to forget all of the beautiful things you guys said to me about that, all of the encouraging words you gave. But I also feel that video was way too negative to leave up. It kind of put a damper on everyone's mood, and that's really not what I want to go for on this channel from now on. But, like I said, not going away entirely because, in the words of Hidden in the Truth himself here, you seen the comments on the Failure Fnu video? You have one hell of a fan base there, man. Hey, don't have to tell me twice. Anybody who watches either my live streams or the Team Pizza Plays channel knows I'm not really a pop culture guy. I kinda specialize in video games, eschewing movies, books, TV, anime, comics, and even manga, which I really shouldn't do because I'm a fledgling game designer and consuming other media is how I get better at my job. And now there are cheats to this process. Often I'll use guys like Linkara, Anime America, or hell, even Wrestling with Regret to help educate myself on an aspect of nerd culture I know nothing about. That's because they do a good job of condensing it and making it understandable for people on the outside, something I strive for with my own content, as a matter of fact. But once in a long while, I'll see something that hits me in just the right way. Something that lets me know I have to sit down and experience it in its entirety by myself. Recent examples include JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, The Amazing World of Gumball, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the subject of today's episode, Steven Universe. For quite a while, I knew of the show, but that was about it. It wasn't on DVD at the time, and even back then, I was inundated with YouTube production, so I never really had time to work my schedule around catching it live. And so for years, I didn't know what the Crystal Gems were, what their backstory was, I wasn't familiar with any of the supporting characters, nothing. In fact, my first real taste of that world came in the form of the iOS game Attack the Light. And that game proved something to me. It proved that the first thing about being a writer is that you can't help but ruin stories for yourself. You understand on a fundamental level how these things function. You're trained to pick up on the little details that make a world work simply because they're the kinds of things you do. Cripes, in Fracture, I knew where the gun was almost immediately. It is very rare for me to be surprised anymore. And sure enough, halfway through the Strawberry Battlefield level, I pieced together that A, Rose is Steven's mom, B, Rose was a gem, C, that's why he had powers but wasn't a frontline fighter like the Pureblood gems, and D, that there was something more to Garnet that I just wasn't seeing. That was the unfortunate downside to starting myself off on the fluff material. It gave me a woefully incomplete picture of the world itself. And that's the second thing about being a writer. When there are holes in a story, you can't help but try to fill them in. This is how the creative process works after all. You get one new concept introduced to you that sticks and you just roll with it. You bash it up against other things that have inspired you, other common themes and tropes that you like, try to apply them to it and see how they work together. You run these new characters and scenarios you come up with through their paces, imagine their chemistry with the existing cast, and try to figure out their place in the grand scheme of things, what their purpose is, and what you're trying to accomplish with them. And that's exactly what happened when my buddy Ice Cold Koopa reintroduced me to the show years later. and unknowingly kicked off the creative journey that inspired this episode in the first place. Also, I'm sorry for the heavy use of static images, but after the horror stories I've heard from guys like the mysterious Mr. Enter, I'm still a little leery about what the bots consider copyright infringement around here. It all started with an episode called Log Date 715-2. That's a very interesting episode to start on, because not only does it get you acquainted with a majority of the core characters, but it's also told from an outsider's perspective, someone desperately trying to make sense of this foreign world they've suddenly found themselves in. It also helps by introducing you to a lot of the main concepts, like homeworld, fusion, Steven and Greg's roles in this mess, all that good stuff. So by the end of that episode, my brain was buzzing. In my eagerness to get more of this universe, pun intended, I started doing what came naturally, designing a character, someone I felt had a place in the story that wasn't being filled already, and addressed concepts that have always been near and dear to my heart. But then Koobs showed me Coach Steven, which completely shot me down. It not only addressed my concern in its own unique way, but also rendered my own idea moot. And that's where this story takes a swerve, because believe it or not, that's where I started getting slightly depressed about this show, and even somewhat angry. See, I've rarely ever encountered a world as complete as Steven Universe, as well-designed and functional to where it feels like nothing is missing. And you gotta understand, that's terrifying to a creative type, because how I interpreted that was that there was something wrong with me, that I just wasn't good enough to add anything to this. It was a unique and frustrating position to be in, because I had the desire to create, the drive to create, but was stopped from doing so at every turn. I took it as a personal challenge. I started reworking the concept in different ways, looking up everything from the Classroom Gems series to the origin story of Amethyst to try and get a better handle on what I was working with. And just when I was about to quit, just when I was about to throw up my hands and walk away with nothing but negative feelings towards the show, Koobs showed me one more episode, Rose's Scabbard, and that changed everything. I don't dare spoil a single thing about that short, not one detail. I mean, where would I even start? The fact that it manages to address so many complicated and touching subjects in only 11 minutes, or the fact that it turned 5 of the most innocuous and innocent words out there into one of the most moving moments ever put to animation. If you never watch anything else from Steven Universe, if you can only fit one part of it in your life, watch Rose's Scabbard, because after seeing it, I understood that I was looking at this whole thing the wrong way. There's a reason you're told to write from the heart, because as an artist, your stories are you. They're reflections of you and what you care about. You create because you want to share a piece of yourself with others, and in hindsight, that's probably where I made my first mistake. Steven Universe never needed me to be good because it's not my idea. These aren't my characters. This isn't my world. So on a fundamental level, I simply do not and probably never truly will understand how to make it better. But what I do understand is the character I came up with. He's the only element in all this that I can call my own. And after all this, I think he's better going off on his own adventures. See, that's the trick that makes the creative process so special. Tracing is nice, but the real joy of drawing is figuring out how to make your own outlines. You shouldn't get too hung up on trying to puff out your chest and prove you can hang with the big kids, because by the very nature of the creative process, you're being graded on totally different standards. You don't need to tie your ideas to someone else's success to give them legitimacy, because the fact that this came uniquely from you did that by itself. In fact, by confining that flash of inspiration to someone else's mold, you might unintentionally hamstring your own ideas, keeping a good concept from getting the room it needs to be a great one. I shouldn't be mad at Steven Universe because I don't understand what goes on in Rebecca Sugar's head, because that's not the part that's important. What is important is that it gave me that spark. It made me feel for these characters, and in turn, inspired me to take those feelings and use them to create something that only I could have come up with. And considering my profession, I'm a little embarrassed I didn't realize that sooner. Time and again, you guys have told me the same thing. Nothing fills me with pride more than comments like this, or this. Comments from folks that tell me I gave them the push to keep going, to keep fighting the good fight and do what they love. Some of my happiest moments on YouTube have been from realizing that I brought out something good in my viewers and kept the train of one generation inspiring the other going strong. So I guess what I'm saying is, thank you, everybody. I've said it plenty of times before, but I mean it when I say you are what makes it all worth it. So I've got a little something special right here. This was a huge surprise to me, this envelope, because this was actually sent to the Whatthefnu P.O. box. Like, I had people on my Ask FM page asking if I had one, and I did actually open up one and just, I don't know, for the sake of posterity, I guess, I didn't expect anybody to actually send me something to that box, which was really, really cool. This is the first time somebody's actually gone out of the way to give me something. So I knew that I'd have to open this up in a video. I wanted this to be, for you guys, the event that it is for me. I wanted it to be something special. And as you can see on the edges, I've already I've already taken a little bit of the glue off here. I'm not even going to butcher this thing with an envelope opener or whatever you call these things, because this thing is going straight in my box of memories after I'm done with this. I don't ever want to forget this moment, so let's just... we got it. Okay, deep breaths. Let's see what's in this thing. It appears to be a letter of some sort. Not gonna look at this. I want to see what the thought behind it was before I understand what I've been given here. Dear Fnu, I was introduced to your channel when I was looking for reviews for a game called Heavenly Guardian, and I saw your RTGs video on it. I've been a huge fan of your stuff ever since. Your reviews, rants, and top 8 lists are enjoyable to watch, and I walk away feeling like I learned something. You strike me as someone who is pleasant to talk to, and you have a clear passion for video games. You sound like a smart, cultured individual without coming off as pretentious, but most importantly, you're someone who's inspired me to want to do what you do. When I was in high school, I used to write game reviews online as a hobby. Recently, I've been wanting to get back into reviewing by starting up a blog. Hey, I encourage you to do it, man. I really do. Eventually, I gave up on that in favor of making a YouTube series, but I had no clue to where to even begin. And then I saw your 3-part Game Reviewer Survival Guide videos. Thanks to you, I bought all of the equipment I needed to get started, and I've already got the first season of my show all planned out. My channel will launch sometime soon. Well, okay, my channel will launch sometime soon. My first episode, on the other hand, is still to be decided. Dude! When you put that up, let me know. I will totally, share the link with people on YouTube, on Twitter or something if I end up liking it. This next paragraph may seem like tonal whiplash, but trust me, there is a point to it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've been dealing with a terrible case of depression for a few years now. Oh, jeez. I haven't really done much with my life after college. Meanwhile, my best friend just got hired for a big-time job that requires them to move out of state. So that means what little social interaction I get outside of work has greatly diminished. The only thing I ever do when I'm at home is play video games or watch YouTube videos, and your videos, among many others, make me feel like I'm listening to an old friend just geek out over video games. It's oddly therapeutic for me. So if it means anything, I really do appreciate what your videos have done for me over the years. You never get used to things like that. You never do. That's real good right there. For somebody to come up to you and say that, well, I guess write to you here, that you've done something like that for them just for doing what you love. I can't even wrap my head around that. Just saw your recent video, Fail-Proof Fnu is now just Failure Fnu, and Now I want to help you in the same way you helped me. Fnu, you're not a failure. We all make mistakes. We all make promises we don't end up keeping. But you don't need to beat yourself up over it. Just apologize and strive to be better. I assure you that nobody hates you. I've even checked the comments section of your latest videos. Do you know how many hateful comments I saw? 0. That's kind of a rare sight on the internet. Just relax, it's all in your head. I'm just saying, if you didn't lose subscribers after the last time you guaranteed the next RTGs was coming at a certain date, then this time shouldn't be any different. LOL. I've waited 2 years for RTGs 25. I don't mind waiting an extra couple days, give or take. Anyway, time to wrap this up. Thank you for all the free entertainment you've provided with me over the years. I hope this little letter helped raise your spirits in some way. And, as Peppy puts it, never give up. Trust your instincts. I love this job. I love this job. Okay, I've got a little extra bonus thing for you guys at the end of this episode. So remember that thing I pulled out of the envelope that I didn't want to look at because I wanted the sentiment of the letter to sink in before I saw what the guy actually sent me? Well, not only did the letter itself lift up my spirits with the force of freaking angel wings, Crazy Bastard sent me a $20 Steam gift card. Dude, you didn't have to do that. I'm glad you did it, but you didn't have to do that. Thank you so much, and I have no idea what to even spend it on, which is where I hope you guys can come in. See, there are a couple things I've got my eye on with this Steam credit, and I want to know which one you guys are most interested in seeing. The first thing I've got my eyes on right now is Inside. Everybody, and I do mean every single person I watch, has told me I need to check this game out. I need to go into it with as few spoilers as possible. I need to keep my mind open, my eyes peeled. It's one of those games that breaks expectations and has fantastic plot elements that are going to change everything you think you know about everything. I'm pretty sure a lot of that is blowing things out of proportion, but hey, color me intrigued. I might do a review on it, or a live stream, or perhaps something for the gameplay channel, Team Pizza Plays, if you guys are interested. Or even a review, if you don't mind it being a little late, so let me know if you want to see that. The other game I've got my eye on is called Rabby-Ribby. I've been looking at this thing for quite some time now. It's a little bit, however, it was a little bit on the expensive side, so it wasn't something I could feasibly do before now. One of the main reasons I'm looking at this game are the obvious ones. It's colorful, it's whimsical, it's got a fantastic soundtrack, but it's also combining a lot of the things I love, which is platformers, Metroidvania-style games, and also bullet hell games on top of that. But the main reason I'm looking at Rabby-Ribby is, for a while now, I've been looking for a game to start speedrunning. I am fascinated with shows like AGDQ, SGDQ, and now that I've got a reasonable system running on Twitch, I'd like to stream more often. Maybe turn Sundays into the days that I have live streams for speed games or games I'm looking to play really fast start going, and Rabby-Ribby is a prime candidate for that. Now, the last two things I have my eyes on, I'd be able to buy at once because they're both $9.99 on Steam. The first game in this little pack is called Pharaoh Rebirth, or Pharaoh Rebirth Plus to be specific. Again, a rabbit-based platformer, but the world is just beautiful. I mean, look at this footage that I'm showing you right now. It's got a ton of different power-ups, it's got an intriguing story, a great main character, 2 characters to play as, and like I said, they've got a ton of different tools to deal with what's going on around them. And again, This is something I haven't seen any records for on Speedruns Live, Speed Demos Archive, anything like that. I can't even find speedruns for Pharaoh Rebirth Plus on YouTube if I search for them, so color me intrigued. I might be breaking new ground here with a game that looks fantastic. Hell, this thing looks so fantastic, I might want to do an episode of RTGs on it. And speaking of games that are RTGs worthy, have a look at Blue Estate, which I would buy alongside Pharaoh Rebirth. I know I've said that 3 times, I just want to make sure I'm being clear on that one. This is a rail shooter with a sense of humor. It is completely off the wall and crazy. It's sort of like House of the Dead Overkill, except somehow even more ridiculous. Again, everything about this is pretty much right up my alley, and I'd love to share this with you guys, like on Twitch, or again on the gameplay channel if you want, or help through a video on RTGs. So if that appeals to you, let me know. So again, the choices are Inside, Rabby Ribby, or a dual pack of Pharaoh Rebirth and Blue Estate. Please let me know what to do with this money, because I do not trust myself to make the right decision on my own, and I will see you guys again next week with the results of that. Until then, hope you're having a good day. Later.